Hello everyone, my name is Jean Jobert. I'm a cellist here in New Orleans. I play in the Louisiana Philharmonic, and I'm going to be giving a performance of unaccompanied cello music on Wednesday at the Music at Midday series in Rogers Chapel. And so I thought I would give a little introduction in a series of videos to the works on the program. And this first one is actually, I'm not going to talk about any specific work in detail, but just tell you kind of how the program came about for whatever interest that may hold, and how somebody goes about putting a program together. So like I say, it's a program of unaccompanied cello music, meaning just cello alone, no piano accompanying or harp or whatever might normally accompany a cello. And I had in my mind that I wanted to do such a program kind of as part of my healing process of coming out of a sort of bad round of tendonitis, which is a terrible thing that afflicts a lot of musicians, and I never had it in my life at all until a few years ago, and then suddenly it just hit me out of nowhere, and it was terrible. But anyway, I kept playing through all that mostly, but it really takes a while to heal. And so somehow I got it in my head that as part of this kind of healing and recovery process from tendonitis, I wanted to do a program of unaccompanied cello music, which actually makes no sense because unaccompanied music is physically very taxing because there's no chance to rest. Normally, if you're playing, say, a sonata or something like that has a piano accompaniment part, you have a few measures at least here and there, and sometimes long stretches where it's just the piano playing. But definitely every so often you have a rest and you can just let go of the tension. And so it's just a little bit, even though it can be very virtuosic, it's overall less physically demanding to play accompanied music than to play unaccompanied music. So why I thought that would be a good idea as a way of recovering from a sort of, tendon problem, I don't know, but it all worked out. So I did, create this program, but I had too much music. I had so many unaccompanied pieces that I wanted to play that I've kind of collected over the years that I wanted to play that I just couldn't decide. And so at some point, I put all my music on the floor because I am most comfortable when I have music on the floor around me. I'm not really comfortable if it's all properly in its place. So I put all my music on the floor and I just kind of stared at it. And then suddenly this phrase came to me that made the program completely clear in my mind what I would do. And the phrase was something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, which maybe you know and associate with the idea of a wedding. So that phrase just stuck in my head, and then the program completely grew out of that phrase. So my something old is one of the suites by J.S. Bach. He wrote a set of 6 suites for unaccompanied cello. I'll talk more about each of these pieces in other videos. But so that's my something old, and my something new is a piece by Philip Glass called Orbit. And when I did this program before, I actually had a dancer with this piece, so it actually involved a dancer on a trapeze. But we don't have a trapeze at Rogers Chapel, and the dancer's not available. So I'm just doing it. It's a perfectly excellent work, completely on its own without the dancer. That's called Orbit by Philip Glass. That's my something new. My something old, something new, something borrowed is a work called Fall of the Leaf by Imogen Holst. She was the sister of Gustav Holst, who maybe you know that name from his most famous work is this symphony called The Planets. So he wrote this big work based on the different planets. But his sister was a wonderful and rather prolific composer in her own right, And so she has a piece for unaccompanied cello written in 1962 called Fall of the Leaf. And why is that borrowed? It's because she borrows a melody from the Fitzwilliam Virginal book. I'll explain what that is, to write a set of variations. So it's not really a set of variations, actually. It's 3 pieces, or 4, I can't remember. It's some number of short pieces based on this melody from the Fitzwilliam Virginal book. So what is that? That is basically a set of keyboard tunes from the 1500s. So virginal is the name for some of the earliest keyboards, like harpsichords and clavichords and clavicins and all kinds of stuff. The predecessors to the modern piano. Basically, virginal, as I understand it, is a kind of generic term for those instruments. And so there were, books of just lots of different tunes that people played in the 1500s. And so she borrows a tune from one of those and creates this work called Fall of the Leaf. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue is this work, happens to be sitting here on my stand, by Adolphus Hailstork. I love his name. Adolphus Hailstork, a living composer who wrote a piece for unaccompanied cello that is a set of variations called Theme and Variations on Draw the Sacred Circle Closer. And I'm going to talk a lot more about that in when I do a video just about that piece. But basically, that's my something blue, because especially the last variation you'll hear, well, all throughout it, draws on all kinds of different things, but the blues to some extent. So parts of it are blues inspired, let's say. So, okay, those are the 4 works you'll hear me perform live on Wednesday, and this is my little intro. Thanks, bye.